Now, here with me is Tony Holman, the Terre Haute product, who is president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here on my right, this big fellow here, is Jack Reed, who heads up the entire Mercury organization. And standing next to Mr. Reed is a fellow all of you sports fans will recognize because he is Jimmy Bryan, a president of the United States Auto Club champion driver. Now, Tony, would you answer a question for me? How come this year you picked the Mercury as the pace car for your tremendous Memorial Day race?
Well, Ed, that honor always goes to the car that, in our opinion, shows the year's biggest advance in styling and performance.
And in your opinion, then, the Big M satisfies both counts?
Yes, it does, easily. Jack Reed and his gang out at Mercury have done a bang-up job. The 57 Big M is several years ahead in styling. You can get a really tremendous engine, up to 290 horsepower. And, well, all in all, Ed, the Big M is the car of the year.
Tony, thank you very, very much. Now, Jack Reed, along with this latest charming accolade from Tony's group, I imagine that you're especially pleased with the way the public has accepted Mercury's new styling.
Ed, all of us at Mercury are delighted with the reaction we've got. It's been a spontaneous thing, too, sort of contagious. One fellow drives a Mercury home, and pretty soon he has a half a dozen neighbors around, all talking about dream car design.
Well, Jack, suppose we take a look at that dream car design.
Well, there's a beautiful example right over there.
Oh, the new convertible cruiser, and it is a real beauty. So that's the model that will do the actual pace car honors next Memorial Day.
That's right, Ed. We've chosen the convertible cruiser because it most typifies Mercury's dream car design.
It's really a knockout.
Well, it has the same straightness of lines, the feeling of bigness and mass without bulk. And as you pointed out, Ed, this basic styling found on all Mercuries has captured the imagination of car buyers everywhere. In fact, in order to meet this tremendous buyer demand, we've had to increase our production by 40% for the months of January and February. Actually, right now, we have more people at work building Mercuries than at any time in the history of the Mercury car.
That's terrific, Jack. And I imagine the new Big M ride is at a certain measure contributing. Don't you think, to the success of it?
Well, I can vouch for that, Ed. You see, I've driven this new Mercury, and she's really got roadability.
She really sticks.
It really sticks. As you know, I won quite a few races last year with the Mercury. But
I remember that very, very well.
Well, this new one tops them all. Mercury's really got tremendous getaway, Ed, but mainly it's the way she rides, the way she levels on the curves.
In other words, good roadability.
The best, Ed.
Well, now, what gives, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you as a racing driver, what gives Mercury better roadability than other cars?
Well, a lot of things, Ed. Mercury has better weight distribution, for one thing. They've got all new shock absorbers, new springing, and a new swept-back ball joint front suspension.
Well, Tony, sounds to me as though all of you experts agree that Mercury is quite a car.
That's right, Ed.
Well, Tony, I would certainly like to thank you and your associates for selecting Mercury as the official pace car for the Indianapolis 500-mile Classic this year. We at Mercury are proud indeed that you rate the Big M as the car with the greatest advancement in styling and performance in 1957.
Now, you take it from Sullivan. These auto experts here know what they're talking about. And the Big M 457 is the car of the year. Let us take another look at your very lovely inaugural ball gown.
Thank you.
Now, Julia, I understand that actually you were just in Washington, and you had a chance to drive around in one of the many Lincolns to be used in the inaugural parade tomorrow.
Yes, I was, Ed. As a matter of fact, I had the opportunity to drive my Lincoln along the actual route the parade will take. And I'd like to show you how it looks. Appropriately enough, Ed, the first place we visited was the Capitol. Surely one of the most thrilling sights in the world. It's the focal point of the city, and right over there where you see the stand, the inauguration itself will take place.
And the parade tomorrow begins right here. And so will we.
Although it was very cold, I had the top down on my long, low Lincoln convertible, so I was riding just as the people will be riding in the parade tomorrow. I drove away from the Capitol toward the stately Supreme Court building. And right away, my lovely Lincoln attracted as much attention as if it were leading a parade. I followed the stands along Pennsylvania Avenue, past the National Gallery of Art, where you can see some of the world's finest art treasures, and then by the Washington Monument. And I thought how perfectly my new Lincoln fitted into the beautiful setting of this lovely city. It had started to snow, so I put the top up and drove to where the parade will end, at the White House, where the President, the Vice President, and their guests will review the parade. As I started back, I was reminded of something I'd noticed, that from the number of Lincolns in Washington, more and more of the most important people were driving the finest car, Lincoln. For example, later that evening when I arrived at the Carlton Hotel for dinner with friends, the doorman complimented me on my lovely Lincoln. Later he told me that with all the social activities in Washington these days, he had noticed so many more people were arriving in new Lincolns. And as I was standing with my friends at the entrance of the hotel, I saw evidence of this myself. I was convinced, as I am wherever I go, that Lincoln stands out as unmistakably the finest in the fine car field.
You're so right about that, Julia. And as Julia just told you, when you see the parade tomorrow on most of our CBS TV stations, you'll be seeing many of lovely Lincolns in it, as well as the beautiful Continental Mark II. Thank you, hon. Incidentally, in Newsweek this week, there's a wonderfully fine story on our Julia, so you get it and be sure and read it. In Newsweek this week. All right, thank you, honey.
Come on, Ed. I don't think I can remember that far back. However, here's what the so-called modern woman wore in those days. Believe it or not, this was the hot weather outfit of its day. Now let's take a look at what a modern young lady would wear. There. This young lady can really enjoy the wonderful summer weather. Her dress is pretty, but more than that, it's functional. Yes, functional beauty is the real secret of modern living. And that's exactly why we call the 1953 Lincoln the one fine car designed for modern living. And here it is. Modern living on wheels. True, you know, wherever you see modern living, you're sure to see the new Lincoln. You see, there just aren't any big, cumbersome, bulgy fenders to make parking such a nuisance. This luxury car can slip into the tightest parking space with ease. This is really functional beauty at its very best. And even inside, your Lincoln is just as up-to-date as your modern home. Glamorous interior fabrics come in a really full range of colors and materials. And you can even get rich, top-quality leathers in almost any shade you choose, from black and deep red to light green and even pure white. And all these fine leathers are available in four-door sedans, as well as in hardtop and convertible. And of course, Lincoln is completely powered for modern driving. There's Lincoln's magnificent 205 horsepower V8 engine and all the optional power features to make driving a great pleasure. Power steering, power brakes, and this sensational four-way power seat. Just watch. You push a button, you move back and forth. Now you push another button and you move up and down. You see, you can stop it just at any point you wish. But of course, you know, you can't really fully appreciate this Lincoln by just seeing it here on television. So I'd like to make a suggestion. Why don't you stop in and visit your Lincoln dealer this week? Drive either the Lincoln Cosmopolitan or the Capri. Truly the one fine car designed for modern living and completely powered for modern driving.
The 1957 Mercury. Go ahead, take the wheel. Touch the keyboard control. Feel your dream car come to life. The 1957 Mercury, a dream car.
Actually, a dream car with a new floating ride. Because actually, it's like floating on a cloud. Never before have so many advances been teamed together for your riding comfort. Advances like this Mercury Exclusive, the industry's first full-cushion shock absorbers. Shock absorbers that adjust instantly to changing road conditions. They have full cushion action to control rebound on any road. Now, these new Mercury shock absorbers have not just 4 valves like other cars, but 6 valves, 2 extra valves to more efficiently soak up all the bumps so you don't have to, even when the going gets rough. And now, if you please, let's take a look at this very cute gal. Watch how easily she applies her lipstick. Her arm is steady, her hand is even. She rides the way you ride, in velvet comfort. Now next, another exclusive. Mercury engineers took the Big M's famous ball joint front suspension and swept back the control arms. So now, instead of the wheels being bounced into bumps, Mercury's wheels are pulled over, gently, like that. And then the engineers lowered Mercury's center of gravity, so this longer, lower Big M hugs the corner closer than ever. Actually, it's the same principle a skier uses when he crouches for a turn. And Mercury's built lower for greater stability and handling ease. And don't forget Mercury's new bigger size and weight. Nearly 2 tons big, spread with precision, balance over a longer wheelbase. So you get big size, big length, big heft for a smooth, road-hugging, even-keel ride. The new floating ride in the biggest, longest, widest Mercury ever built. No other automobile in America has it, so tomorrow you see the Big M 457 with floating ride and dream car design at your Mercury dealers now.